we did offensive tips, and this we're gonna do defensive. So, anyways, time to go right into it. The best defenses, there's 4 types, as I said last video, and I said that offensive was pretty cookie cut. It's pretty easy, pretty all that. Yes, but defensive is a lot different, which is, not too surprising. Defensive can go many ways, either some good, some bad. So, before I get into the actual strategies, we're going to talk basics about defense. Probably the best defense ever, the tent. It keeps spawning men, and it's the only defense that pretty much repairs itself by keep spawning men. Once you lose a bunker, it's gone. I mean, you lose a tent, it's gone, but as long as you keep your tents alive, you're going to keep having defensive men coming out. Anyways, so most people know this, but the perks that you use on your guys, so in offense, they should go over to defense. But some people I've seen don't do it, and I'm going to recommend a tip. Some people I see using minimum wage and rapid deployment, and that is helpful, but not on defense. On defense, that doesn't help at all. So, I mean, you're really down a couple perks that way on defense. As for me, I use my assaults on defense, and I have damage 4, health 4, and rapid fire 4 on them. So, plus I also have the medals. So, I mean, if you really have if you have money problem with munitions and you want them quicker, do their medals. Most of the time, that's what the medals do. It decreases their cost and their speed, so make sure you do medals. Anyways, so yeah, that's a little tip. Make sure your guys have good perks that work on both offense and defense. Next thing is, the guys that come out of the HQ, I'm not sure about Last Stand, but I mean Grunts and Assault will come out every so often. They also have perks on, so make sure to give them some perks. That's the little ways that you can increase your defense. Now, there are 2 guys I really want to talk about right now, are the Flamer and the Engineer. The Flamer, he's good on both offense and defense. But he can be extremely helpful if you use him in a funnel. And here we're going to go into the funnel strategy. The funnel there's 2 funnels, natural or man-made. Man-made is a wall funnel, and natural is using the environment such as the rocks to your advantage. Both have their pros and cons. In fact, I'm going to go into them. So, the man-made pros, you can control the funnel. You tell it, you build it where you want it to go. The con to it can be easily destroyed. So you gotta pretty much upgrade your walls in order to make it a successful one. Natural, the advantage is that it can't be destroyed. Disadvantages, you pretty much have to go where it's telling you to go, which can bring problems up later. So, anyways, with the Flamer you do with it, you just place him right at the exit of the funnel, so when anyone comes out, he'll just set them all on fire. I mean, it's a good defensive strategy. Personally, I wouldn't waste a tent on the Flamer because, there are 2 types of things you can do with tents. Get guys that are extremely quick but weak, or guys that are extremely powerful but take a long time. Personally, I like weak. So, now my assaults are pretty strong, but that's probably because of all the perks I have on them, because they're all purple. But anyways, so I think that getting the ones that are quick are better. Now, I stopped using grunts because I wanted someone to actually deal damage and was quick, so I went to assaults. And it works. See, the point of getting a weak one that's quick is that naturally the enemies will have to, the AI automatically has to shoot the other unit AI before they start shooting buildings. You can't shoot the building, and without focus fire, you can't just shoot the building, if there's an enemy right in front of it. So, that's what the point of getting a quick one is. It defends your buildings, keeps them alive longer, so they're focusing on your guys, but your defenses are killing them all. Now, heavy hitter, they take a long time to train. Well, but they actually do damage. Personally, I don't like it, and personally, I think the max is the Ranger, and I really don't like the Ranger in general, so I honestly just would stick with assaults and grunts, but hey, I see people doing other stuff. I never like using heroes on defense, Equip the last stand cards you have, or not last stand, command cards. If it's last stand, I mean, you know. Next is the engineer. I actually want to get into him. He is, I do not like him on offense, but defense he does truly make up. I mean, the ability to repair stuff, what you got to do with him, the problem is, you got to place him behind all the structures so he can repair them. Otherwise, it's not going to end well. Otherwise, he's going to die and not actually get your worth out of him. So, honestly, just place him behind the defenses. He'll repair him after a wave break. Probably not fully, but he'll give him some health back. Anyways, that's what I want to talk about tents. Let's actually get into the strategies now. The funnel, as I was talking about it, there are two funnels, the man-made and the natural, and I told you the differences. What you want to do for a proper funnel, you're gonna want a barbed wire and explosive barrels. I personally don't like explosive barrels, but hey, barbed wire is actually the real one you need. You don't need explosive barrels. So what you do for barbed wire just slows them down. Now, people use tactical boots, special card, or the perk Unstoppable. Yes, but still, it will slow them down nonetheless. And them slowing down means you're gonna probably have a higher chance of just killing them all in one confined area. That's the beauty of the red barrel. If you can do a funnel properly, you can get them all in a confined area with the red barrel, shoot the red barrel, and they can lose their whole army just because of that one bullet. Next is the funnel's pretty simple. The funnel's the most common one you will ever see. Next is defensive wall, which is what I run actually. So pretty much it's just wave of defenses. So, you know, that's how mine works. And I mean, mine works out pretty well, to be honest. I like it. I like defensive wall. I used to run with a natural funnel, but then I changed because I started getting a lot of defenses. So, yeah, I mean, you got to be careful though with the placement of your AA guns in this, because it hurts when they have paratroopers coming in. Your AA is just that little bit out. Here, I'll show you. Look at that. That one area by the sniper tower, it's bad. The one powered by the bunker's bad. I mean, the AA gun, you just need to place that properly. So, but the defensive wall is actually pretty common. Next one I like to call last stand. Last stand is pretty much, you have all your defenses up here. Yeah. But back here you have a bunch of sandbags. I see this really common with rangers. So you have your tents back here, and they're just spawning on the sandbags. So by the time you and your forces get up here, they have like 50 rangers up here, and it is a devastating one. However, that can be easily fixed with just tear gases and carpet bombs. Unless you have AA guns up here, then it can be extremely useful. So it's assuming you have the right perks and, you know, upgrade tents, it can be extremely useful. The next one isn't really used a lot. I do see people running with it, but I'm not a fan of it. It's called compact. So pretty much you compact everything right next to your HQ. Very little room, everything's compact. But doing that means that the guys will have, your enemies will have less room to actually function in, and they're not sure who they'll be targeting. So they may, half of your guys are targeting this sniper tower, while the other half are targeting an MG nest. It does work, but however, I have beaten it many times because of flaws in it. It is just, I would not recommend compact at all. Now, people have done combinations, and there are Red Skulls usually get creative with their defensive type. I mean, I've seen some pretty impressive defenses out there. So, I've seen a combination of the funnel, last stand, and a defensive wall. It's amazing what people can do with defenses. I mean, doing a combination though leaves other problems. That typically means you're gonna have weak points in different places. Well, I like to focus on one strong point. So, you know, that's really honestly the 4 types. Again, you can get creative. Also, another thing with tents, make sure they are closer to the front line. I mean, I'm not saying put them in the front, but the closer they are, the faster response time is with your guys. That's a little tip. I mean, mortars are good, but, you know, you don't know what they work only half the time. Red barrels never work for me, but they work a lot of times for the enemy, in my opinion. So, You know, you could be that one guy that somehow gets 30 kills with one red barrel. Now, typically, if you're doing a CPU defense or one of the waves get annoying as they go higher, especially with the new update with them random. I really can't tell you anything there. The best way to defeat a AI wave is a funnel. The best way, in my opinion, to defeat a human wave is a defensive wall. But you know, that's it. That's it for this defensive video. That is, you know, I'm gonna do another video tomorrow. I'm gonna probably add more tips of defense and offense, both on different times. But that's it for right now. So, and make sure, oh yeah, I forgot. Make sure you balance everything out. Don't have more of one thing than the next thing. You know, don't have 8 MG nests but only 3 sniper nests. Balance it out. It helps. Anyways, but that's it. If you have money problem with munitions and you want them quicker, do their metals. Most of the time, that's what the metals do. It decreases their cost and their speed. So make sure you do metals. Anyways, so yeah, that's a little tip. Make sure your guys have good perks that work on both offense and defense. Some people I see using minimum wage and rapid deployment, and that is helpful, but not on defense. On defense, that doesn't help at all. So, I mean, you're really down a couple perks that way on defense. As for me, I use my assaults on defense, and I have damage 4, health 4, and rapid fire 4 on them. So, plus I also have the medals. So, I mean, if you really have minimum, as long as you keep your tents alive, you're gonna keep having defensive men coming out. Anyways, so most people know this, but the perks that you use on your guys, so in offense, you know, they should go over to defense. But some people I've seen don't do it, and I'm gonna recommend a tip. We did offensive tips, and this we're gonna do defensive. So, anyways, time to go right into it. The best defenses, there are 4 types, as I said last video, and I said that offensive was pretty cookie cut. It's pretty easy, pretty all that. Yes, but defensive is a lot different, which is, you know, not too surprising. Defensive can go many ways, either some good, some bad. So, before I get into the actual strategies, we're going to talk basics about defense. Probably the best defense ever, the tent. It keeps spawning men, and it pretty much, it's the only defense that pretty much repairs itself by keep spawning men. Once you lose a bunker, it's gone. I mean, you lose a tent, it's gone, but you know.